What's going on, my St. Louis City fam? It's your girl Kelly, and I'm here to give you the rundown on what happened in St. Louis City government last week, and let's just get into it. So, first, during last week's Public Safety Committee meeting, there was an explanation provided concerning why firefighters ain't getting promoted. So, what's the issue? Demetrius Alfred, also known as Al, who's the president of Local 73, and they're the union that represents firefighters and dispatchers. Listen to what he had to say as he broke it down for the people.
We have approximately 17 openings. I believe it's 14 captain positions, and I think by Friday it'll be 3 battalion chief positions that haven't been promoted. We're not sure why. We know that the budget, the funds for those promotions have been approved and are available, ready to go. We know that everyone that's on that list has been vetted and passed the test, certified, and they are good to go. We do know that it has gotten to a critical stage. I mean, we've been working our butts off this week, and according to NFPA 1710, we should have a supervisor on each apparatus, supervising 46 guys, and they are working 24 hours. They're working supervisors. They work on the apparatus. They work EMS calls. Those are captain positions, and the battalion chiefs are also 24-hour shifts that they're working around the clock. They're not sitting behind a desk. They're running 12 to 20 calls per night, each one of them, and they supervise about 6 companies in each district. So with that being said, according to 1710, those are the standards. That's what St. Louis Fire Department normally is upheld to. And currently we have 17 positions that are open, vacant, and we have people in those positions right now, the title not being properly funded or not being paid to do the job. And that's why, as a union president, we're here asking, why haven't those positions been filled? And we'd like to see them filled.
Then Dr. Isom, public safety director, gave his explanation as to why these promotions ain't currently happening. Part of his reasoning is regarding results from this report that was published or whatever in 2014. And this report was conducted by ICMA, aka the International City County Management Association. Now, apparently, this report showed there to be an excess of resources in the fire department and a deficit of resources within EMS. Dr. Isom expressed that adjustments, his words, need to be made to redirect those resources from the fire department to where they're needed, which is within EMS. Now, to me, that sounds like ain't no type of promotions finna be had then within the fire department if they gotta tweak things and restructure things and adjust things. I mean, I'm just saying that's what that sounds like to me. Now, folks weren't checking for his response to keep it a buck with y'all. They really weren't. Listen to what Robert Evelyn, fire captain and one of the plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit that's against the city regarding this issue, y'all. Check out what he had to say about this issue.
Despite all the excuses that we have heard, the following facts are indisputable. 1. Promotional exams for captain and battalion chief were administered in 2013. A certified list of candidates were produced and approved by the Department of Personnel. 2, the results were disputed in federal court, and an agreement was reached, in which one of the decrees was that the city would continue to promote from the current list until such time as a new test was given and a new list produced. 3, promotions were being made on a regular basis up until January of 2022. On February of 2022, the promotions were abruptly halted by order of Dan Isom. Now, none of the men and women affected by this decision are doctors, but we all have IQs above 100. We know political interference when we see it. As you may or may not know, 15 of these men and women have filed suit against the city of seeking relief. As a proud resident of St. Louis and who has served the citizens of this great city for 34 years, I think I can speak for all of us and say this was a decision that we did not take lightly. If we win the court case, the monetary damages could be substantial. And really, all of any of us want is to be promoted to the positions that we have earned. We would all like the same opportunity that Dr. Isom was afforded when he received all of his promotions as a member of the police department. I think if Dr. Isom would think in those terms, he might have more empathy for the men and women affected by his decisions. As a final note, out of the 700 plus suppression members of the St. Louis Fire Department, there is incredibly only one female supervisor at this time. The city can triple this number just by approving these promotions. Thank you for your time.
So this would add 3 female to the rank of captain or battalion chief, or what would they become?
2 to the rank of captain. 2 more to the rank of captain.
Now, the older people in the public safety committee that spoke up, they were not checking for Dr. Isom's reasoning on this, y'all. And so they were really trying to discuss what authority, what power, what can they do to support these firefighters? Because y'all, again, at the end of the day, the reason why these promotions are being held up is because they're missing one signature. And that one signature is, you guessed it, Dr. Isom, the public safety director. So, they're trying to figure out what they can do within their power, within their control, to kind of get the things moving concerning this issue. So there was a bit of discussion during this meeting. There was a bit of back and forth between Dr. Isom, some of the firefighters, because some of them were present in the meeting. So it went on for a minute. And just before the meeting ended, Dr. Isom, he had this to say.
I think that this all fits within a more complex sort of assessment of where we should go in the fire department, and so that is my position, looking at this holistically, and promotions is a part of that, but it's not the only part of it. So if we get to the point where we feel that we need to make promotions off of this list, we will, but that will be based on need, not necessarily based on simply because there's an opening or multiple openings. And I think that is the prerogative of leadership and management, is to decide, even though there may be openings, whether or not they're needed or not. So if in fact we get to that point, we will make them. We hope that at some point in time, there will be a new promotional list, because I do believe that is another factor, and only fair that that list be done as it's stated in the agreement between the personnel division and fire in 2013 or so.
So yeah, I have a feeling this is not going to be the end, clearly, of this situation. So to be continued, y'all, to be continued. And the next thing that you need to know as far as what happened in St. Louis City government last week. Now, I don't really discuss resolutions at all, but given the tragedy that happened last week at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School, I had to include this resolution. Now, this resolution was sponsored by Alderwomen Spencer and Clark Hubbard, addressing what happened at that high school. So check out what the resolution, listen to this clip as it breaks down what this resolution addresses specifically.
Resolution 130, recognizing Central Visual and Performing Arts High School tragedy. Whereas on Monday, October 24th, 2022, an unspeakable tragedy took place in the city of St. Louis, and whereas on the morning, a gunman entered Central Performing Arts High School that is joined with collegiate school with the AR-15 style rifle, over 600 rounds of ammunition, and more than a dozen high-capacity magazines and that the lives of student Alexandria Bell just before her 16th birthday and teacher Jean Kuzik, as she was planning to retire in just a couple of years, were taken as a result of this tragedy. And whereas several others were injured and countless other students, parents, teachers, and staff were traumatized by the event. And whereas our city's first responders, in particular members of the St. Louis Public Safety and Security Officers who were on site taking meaningful and impactful actions immediately, and the St. Louis Police Metropolitan Police Department and the City of St. Louis Fire and EMS were present within minutes of the emergency calls, and their actions and bravery and valor saved the lives of untold others. And whereas places where we educate our children should be the safest space in a community, and under no circumstances should military-style weapons be present. And whereas recognizing that as a subject to both the city and state governments, both who have imposed restrictions on our rights to protect our citizens, the city of St. Louis should still nonetheless take steps it can stretch the boundaries of its abilities and duties as a governmental entity to protect the lives of our citizens and improve their health and well-being. And whereas we are calling the state of Missouri to take actions to protect our communities, including repealing Second Amendment Preservation Act and empowering the city of St. Louis to enact certain gun restrictions that will preserve and protect the well-being of our children and our first responders and our citizens. And whereas we are also calling on our nation to recognize that school shootings have become far too normal, far too common, and it is time to finally pass common sense gun laws restricting at least the proliferation of military-style weapons and reestablishing a reasonable sense of safety and well-being in our communities. And whereas this body consists of several members with children in the St. Louis Public School District, as well as others in other schools in the area, former educator, current neighbors, friends, and parents, that this resolution comes not from one, but all of us, and that we are impacted by this unspeakable tragedy, as well as regular acts of violence and continue to terrorize and victimize our residents on a daily basis, and will continue to be victims of violence until we collectively and decisively take action. Now, therefore, let it be resolved by the Board of Aldermen of the City of St. Louis that we pause in our deliberation, grieve the loss of members of our community, and renew our commitment to serve and protect our residents through laws and actions that improve safety and well-being for our communities.
Now, Board of Aldermen President Vollmer, he usually keeps things moving and he rarely provides his 2 cents in meetings. But listen to his thoughts on this matter.
Not even 9 or 10 days before, the police were at this gentleman's house that committed this act. And because of the governor's rules and laws that he has signed in, the police did not have the ability to confiscate the rifle. They gave it to a third party, but he somehow got it back. Our governor has shown, as much of our legislature has, a complete disregard, a blatant disregard for the city of St. Louis. He was in town yesterday to say, what can I do? Well, it's what you should have done or what you should not have done that put us in this situation. Having gone up to the school within an hour after this occurred, it still sits with me. I can't even imagine what the teachers, the students, the EMS, especially the police, the security guards, what they went through and how they feel right now. I have an uneasy feeling all through my days just walking around my neighborhood, just being there. This is a place where, as a child, we'd hop the fence and run the track because we didn't have a track around here. We thought we were pretty cool, and where a lot of my friends attended school. I played football games on that field, and it's such a violation of our beings. It's a violation of our rights, our souls, by a governor who sits up in Jeff City. That's the reason we're not even a non-smoking state. You realize there's some places in the state of Missouri you can go smoke cigarettes and walk around with a gun on your hip. This isn't the Wild West, and they're turning it into that. These people have no regard for anything we do here, while we are the economic engine for the state of Missouri, and we just get tramped on. Governor, you can go talk to him, but he won't care. He doesn't care. He won't listen. He was in town yesterday. Couldn't care less. This is a man who I don't understand it. No, never will understand. So to walk around and see all these shootings going on, it's unreal, unreal.
Yeah, y'all. And at the end of the day, we have to continue to do this work together, period. So that's it for this week. I am giving people a heads up that this is the official last St. Louis City rundown. But don't worry, because I'm still going to be talking about all things local government, especially what's going down in the city of St. Louis. But I'll be doing it every Monday on 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel. So definitely check it out. Also joining me will be my partner in all things community, Vanna from the Hood Talks podcast. So we'll be talking about these issues on our Monday Night Live show. We'll also have some special guests pop on here or there to contribute to the convo as well. So with that being said, y'all, take care, stay safe out there, and you'll see me soon. Actually, hopefully, I hope to see y'all on Monday night. Peace.